Imagine a world, maybe one uncomfortably close to our own, where truth itself is a weapon. And imagine one of the most powerful figures in that oppressive regime is secretly plotting its destruction from the inside. What would that even look like? What does it take to bring down a system like that? Today we're doing a deep dive into Margaret Atwood's The Testaments, the incredibly anticipated sequel to The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it really was highly anticipated. Published in 2019, it's this brilliant piece of speculative fiction, and it picks up, 15 years after the original book ends. It gives us this crucial look at how Gilead might actually fall.
Exactly. And for you listening, you're part of something a bit different today. You are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM, which allows for, we think, a deeper, more dynamic analysis of the book. So we're going to unpack this incredible book, really focus on its core messages and why they hit so hard today. So the main thrust of the book really is showing how this theocratic state, Gilead, starts to crumble. But it's not like an outside force, is it? It's coming from within.
That's what's so compelling and maybe so believable. It's decay from the inside out. And Atwood does this using a really interesting structure. 3 different first-person testimonies, 3 distinct voices.
Right.
And their stories all interconnect, leading us towards Gilead's downfall. It gives you this, multifaceted view.
And the 3 narrators are just fascinating.
Yeah.
First, there's Aunt Lydia, a character people will definitely remember, probably with a shudder, from The Handmaid's Tale. One of Gilead's, chief architects of female oppression.
Definitely a key figure.
Then you got Agnes Jemima. She grew up inside Gilead, part of the elite.
Yeah.
Seemed sort of safe at first.
Yes, a very different perspective.
And finally, Daisy, living in Canada, totally oblivious to her real identity as baby Nicole.
The famous baby Nicole, yeah. A huge symbol for the resistance and for Gilead itself.
It's worth mentioning how Atwood defines this genre, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. She's very specific about calling it speculative fiction, not science fiction, meaning it's set right here on Earth. It uses elements that terrifyingly already exist or are plausible things like genetic engineering, surveillance tech, social control methods, not, spaceships and aliens.
Which makes it feel much closer to home. Much more possible.
Exactly. It grounds it in a reality we can recognize, which makes the warning all the more potent.
Okay, let's dive into Aunt Lydia first.
Yeah.
Because her secret role is, frankly, pretty shocking. How does a family court judge become, Aunt Lydia, and then secretly turn against it all?
It's an incredible arc. So pre-Gilead, she was a judge, respected. Then the coup happens. She's arrested. Like many professional women, she's subjected to horrific torture, humiliation, and then she's given a choice, essentially. Help design the new system for controlling women, specifically the Ants program, or face worse.
So coercion, basically, survival.
Absolutely. But here's the mind-blowing part Atwood reveals. Lydia says she started plotting Gilead's downfall from the very beginning, that her compliance was always a mask.
A double agent from day one.
Oh, wow.
But it's complex, isn't it? I mean, does the book paint her purely as a hero? She does some terrible things to maintain her position.
Oh, it's deeply complex, and that's one of the book's strengths. She is working towards justice, towards bringing Gilead down. But to do that, she uses manipulation, blackmail. She's ruthless. She gathers incriminating files on Gilead's commanders for years, building this secret arsenal.
Right.
All while working secretly with Mayday. She even has Commander Judd, a top official, wrapped around her finger. He actually asks her for help finding a traitor, ironically.
So she's using the system's own tools against itself.
Yeah.
But those tools are dirty.
Exactly. The book doesn't shy away from that moral ambiguity. Is she justified? How much compromise is too much? It really makes you think about resistance within monstrous systems.
Okay, let's shift to Agnes Jemima. Her story starts inside Gilead, but from a place of, supposed privilege. How does her path unfold?
Agnes's early life seems relatively okay, She's the adopted daughter of Commander Kyle. There's a sort of fragile happiness, but that ends pretty abruptly when her stepmother, Paula, enters the picture and brings cruelty into her life. The real shattering moment, though, comes later. She discovers her biological mother was a handmaid, an escaped handmaid.
The ultimate taboo in Gilead.
Completely. It just destroys the foundation of her identity, everything she thought she knew about herself and her place in that society.
So that discovery, that sense of betrayal, how does that actually push her towards resisting? It's not like she immediately joins Mayday, right?
No, her resistance is quieter, more internal at first. She's faced with this horrible prospect of being married off to Commander Judd, who we know is predatory.
Right, the one Lydia's manipulating.
The very same. So Agnes makes a choice to avoid that fate. She decides to enter Ardua Hall, the training center for ants.
To become an ant herself, that seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it's her way out of the marriage, and it's inside Ardua Hall, ironically, that her real awakening happens. She befriends another young woman, Becca.
Ah, Becca. Right.
And together they start to see the corruption, the hypocrisy at the heart of the ant system, and Gilead itself. Her resistance grows from that insider knowledge.
Okay, now let's turn to Daisy. Her start is totally different. Outside Gilead, seemingly normal life.
Completely different world. She's 16, living in Toronto, Canada, loving adoptive parents, Neil and Melanie. They run a used clothing shop. Seems pretty ordinary.
Until it isn't.
Until it violently isn't. Her parents are killed. A car bomb. And then the truth bombs start dropping.
Oh, wow.
She finds out Neil and Melanie weren't just shopkeepers. They were Mayday operatives, deeply involved in the resistance.
And that she is.
That she is baby Nicole, the child smuggled out of Gilead years ago, a massive political symbol. Her entire reality just implodes.
And Mayday doesn't wait long to pull her in, do they?
Not at all. They need her. They recruit her for an incredibly dangerous mission. Go into Gilead.
Go in. After escaping.
Yes. Disguised as a Pearl Girl, they're like Gilead missionaries. Her mission is to make contact with a high-level source inside.
And she agrees, after everything.
She's terrified, obviously, but she feels she has to honor her parents, what they died for, so yeah, she accepts.
This is where it all starts coming together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lydia's plan.
Absolutely. It's Aunt Lydia pulling the strings behind the scenes. She arranges for Agnes and Daisy to meet inside Ardua Hall. And then she drops the bombshell, reveals they're half-sisters. Same handmaid mother.
Wow. Just like that.
And then the critical move. Lydia implants a microdot tiny, but packed with all that incriminating data she's been collecting for years, right into Daisy's arm.
Literally embedding the weapon inside her. The escape must have been intense.
Incredibly tense. Agnes and Daisy pose as Pearl Girls heading out on a mission. But it's not that simple. Becca, Agnes's friend, makes a huge sacrifice. She creates a diversion, stays behind, and it costs her her life. But it allows Agnes and Daisy to get away.
Oh, Becca. That's tragic.
It really is. It highlights the cost. Their journey out involves switching identities, close calls, constantly looking over their shoulders. But they make it. They get to Canada with that microdot.
And that's the catalyst for Gilead's fall.
It's the spark that ignites the powder keg. The information gets leaked. It exposes the corruption at the highest levels, the hypocrisy, the crimes.
So chaos ensues.
Total chaos. Massive purges within Gilead's leadership as they turn on each other. Then a military coup. Local uprisings start popping up everywhere. And Mayday launches coordinated strikes. It's a perfect storm. All triggered by that data. The regime just crumbles under the weight of its own rot.
And Aunt Lydia. What happens to her in the end?
She knows her part is played and that she'll be discovered. She anticipates it. Rather than face capture, torture, probably execution by the collapsing regime, she chooses her own end. Takes an overdose of morphine she'd kept hidden. It's a bleak end, but also resolute. On her own terms, in a way.
It really shows how these characters aren't just plot devices. They embody the themes so powerfully. Can we talk a bit more about what each of them represents?
Definitely. Aunt Lydia, as we've said, she's maybe the most complex. She's the ultimate insider, outwardly supporting the regime, but secretly engineering its destruction. She's cunning, ruthless, driven by this long-simmering desire for justice or maybe revenge, but yeah, deeply morally ambiguous. She shows the compromises survival can force.
Right. And Agnes.
Agnes is the insider who awakens. She starts in privilege, kind of naive, and then her journey shows the power of knowledge. Discovering the truth about her past, about Gilead, it forces her to make choices, to find her own way to resist. She represents that possibility of breaking free, even from within the elite.
And Daisy or Nicole?
Daisy is the outsider, thrown into the heart of it. She carries the weight of being baby Nicole, this symbol. But her journey is about finding her own courage, her own identity beyond that symbol. And it really highlights the strength of chosen family, her bond with Neil and Melanie, and then eventually with Agnes over the forced bonds of Gilead.
And those secondary characters really matter too, don't they? Becca's sacrifice is huge.
Absolutely. Becca represents that solidarity, the personal cost of resistance. Commander Judd is the face of that corrupt, entitled male power.
And Paula, the stepmother?
Paula's cruelty is actually a catalyst for Agnes. It pushes her away from that privileged life. And Neil and Melanie, their love and their sacrifice are what motivate Daisy. Every piece fits.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. Beyond the plot, the book is just packed with themes that feel so relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Power dynamics is a huge one. How these oppressive systems like Gilead seem all powerful, but they actually contain the seeds of their own collapse. But it also shows how power corrupts, even those resisting. Lydia uses Gilead's methods, doesn't she? It's a really nuanced look at resistance.
And the control of truth and information, that feels central.
Totally central. Gilead thrives on ignorance and lies. They actively rewrite history, control the narrative. Lydia understands this perfectly. Her secret archive, that microdot, it's the ultimate weapon because it is the truth. It exposes the foundational lies of the regime, truth as a literal danger to the state.
And the gender roles, obviously, building on the Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, the strict oppressive hierarchy, men as leaders, women reduced to functions. But the Testaments really digs into how women subvert this. Their supposed weaknesses, networking, information gathering, even seeming compliance become their strengths. They find power in the roles they're forced into.
There's also the religious hypocrisy, right? Gilead claims divine authority.
Vividly portrayed. It's a theocracy where violence and oppression are justified in God's name. Atwood masterfully exposes the leaders who twist faith for political power while violating the very principles they claim to uphold. It's a chilling look at the dangers of merging state and religion that way.
This seems like a good moment to pause and reflect, actually. How these themes connect to things we see in the world today.
It really does. And for listeners interested in exploring these kinds of connections further, we encourage you to check out Mindful Moments. That's our YouTube channel offering AI book analysis, really designed to inspire reflection and rational thought.
Good point. Back to the themes, though. What about guilt? Collective guilt.
That's a powerful, unsettling theme. The book explores how it's not just the leaders who are culpable, it's societal complacency. Anyone who, directly or indirectly, enabled Gilead's survival shares in that collective guilt. It really challenges us, the readers, to think about our own roles, our own potential complicity in systems we might find unjust.
Heavy stuff. But there is hope in the book, too, isn't there?
Definitely. Despite the darkness, there's a strong message of hope. Hope through resistance, through solidarity, through the sheer endurance of the human spirit, and significantly, hope through stories. The power of testimony. Just telling your story, preserving your truth, becomes an act of defiance against a regime trying to erase you.
So what does this all mean for us, reading it now? It feels like more than just a sequel. It feels like Atwood is commenting on our time.
She absolutely is. Atwood herself said the inspiration came directly from the world we've been living in today. It's clearly responding to the rise of authoritarian tendencies we see globally, the ongoing struggles over women's rights and bodily autonomy, even things like climate change denial. It's holding up a mirror.
And that manipulation of memory you mentioned.
Yes, the book delves deep into how regimes try to control the past to control the present and future, how they use symbols, language, even architecture to shape collective memory and identity. Gilead is constantly trying to imprint its narrative onto its citizens.
It also feels very much about feminist resistance, maybe in a new way.
Yeah, scholars see it as engaging with shifts in feminism. It emphasizes intergenerational cooperation.
Yeah.
Lydia, Agnes, Daisy, they all represent different generations and approaches, needing each other. It explores how womanhood, survival, and resistance are passed down.
And it continues Atwood's pattern of using history, right? That famous line about everything having a precedent.
Exactly. She's always maintained that nothing in her Gilead books is invented out of thin air. It's all drawn from historical events, different regimes, different times. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, as the saying goes. The Testaments continues that tradition, serving as a stark warning about how easily democratic norms can erode if we're not vigilant.
And just as a piece of writing, the artistry is remarkable. We talked about the three narrators, but how does she make their voices feel so real, so distinct?
It's down to her incredible skill with language, that precise diction, the specific rhythms and vocabulary she gives each one. Lydia is sharp, cynical, worldly wise. Agnes starts more naive, her language reflecting her sheltered upbringing, then growing in complexity. Daisy sounds more contemporary, more direct, more, North American teenager almost at the start.
Yeah.
It creates this polyphonic effect, like different instruments in an orchestra. Each voice adds a unique layer, giving us this incredibly rich, panoramic view of Gilead from multiple angles: the architect, the privileged child, the outsider.
And her style, generally, it has that poetic feel, doesn't it?
It really does. Careful word
Mm.
choice, varied sentence structures. She uses shifting timelines, flashbacks, reveals information gradually to build suspense and challenge our assumptions, especially about Lydia.
You mentioned symbolism earlier, textiles.
Yes. The weaving and textiles motif is brilliant. It's a metaphor for storytelling itself, weaving a narrative, fabricating a truth. Aunt Lydia literally hides messages in embroidery.
Wow.
And there's recurring imagery like food being used to objectify women. The whole book feels layered, like a palimpsest, referencing history, referencing the first book, building meaning upon meaning.
The impact when it came out was huge, wasn't it? Awards,
Oh,
sales.
massive. It jointly won the Booker Prize in 2019, which was controversial because they broke their own rules to award it to two books.
Right, shared it.
Shared it with Bernardine Evaristo's Girl, Woman, Other. But it also won the Goodreads Choice Award by a huge margin. Sales were phenomenal, breaking records. A lot of that was fueled by the Handmaid's Tale TV show's popularity, of course, but also because the book felt so incredibly timely, so politically relevant. It really tapped into the cultural moment.
And it's getting its own TV adaptation, too.
Yep, Hulu confirmed it. After the Handmaid's Tale series finishes, they're moving on to the Testaments. And Anne Dowd is set to reprise her role as Aunt Lydia, which is perfect casting.
That'll keep the conversation going for sure.
Absolutely. And academically, it's sparked a ton of interest. Scholars are digging into its themes of memory, identity, feminism, politics. It's become a key text for studying contemporary dystopia. It really cements Atwood's place as such a vital voice. It shows how speculative fiction can be incredibly entertaining, but also profound political commentary. Like she says, it's an anti-prediction, a warning of what not to do.
And that epilogue,
Yeah.
like in the first book,
Yes. Framing it all as historical documents discovered later, it reinforces that idea that even the most powerful regimes eventually fall, that they contain those seeds of their own destruction. History moves on.
what a journey through the Testaments. It's just,
Yeah.
wow. That message of hope, resilience, women supporting each other, the sheer power of telling the truth, it really does shine through, even with all the horror.
It's incredibly powerful, and it's a stark reminder, isn't it, that knowledge, really understanding what's going on, thinking critically, those are our best defenses against losing our freedoms.
Absolutely. And for more discussions like this, more deep dives into books and ideas that make you think, remember to check out Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel and explore our other podcasts too. So if this conversation got you interested, we really hope you'll pick up the book yourself or revisit it. Click the link you see on screen for the full, in-depth book analysis we've prepared. And please, subscribe, share this with someone who might find it interesting, purchase the book via the link if you're inspired, and most importantly, keep thinking critically.
Maybe leave with this thought. Consider how those small, seemingly everyday acts of resistance we see in the book, the whispers, the hidden notes, the quiet refusals, how they echo the power each of us actually has. The power to shape our own story and challenge things, even when the status quo feels overwhelming.